Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We have our second presentation of the day, and delighted to welcome Suresh to the stage. Suresh is from Saranyu Technologies from Bangalore in India, and I was just having a chat with him, and I'm sure he'll say this anyway, but one of the unique aspects of the Indian market is just its very scale and the fact it's very mobile-centric, which from a streaming point of view is a good testing ground for any system, I think. So Suresh is going to ask the question, is TV changing forever? And share some of that interesting experience from India, I think. So in just a few seconds, Suresh will entertain you. Thank you very much.
Good morning. So before we just get into the topic quickly on Saranyu Technologies, we are from India with about 14 years in the business. We predominantly cater to media, entertainment, broadcasting, service providers, education, digital news, and enterprise video, building end-to-end OTT solutions, all the way from applications to the video stack, to the content management systems, DRM, content delivery, CDNs, digital marketing, and data analytics, and almost every bit of what an OTT ecosystem requires. And now we are working on what we call OTT 2.0, which is basically how do you enable your OTT stack with AI across the content lifecycle, starting from content creation to content management to processing to content delivery, and also to automate the back office of an OTT service to streamline the process, increase monetization, and improve the returns. So today's topic we are going to look at is, we are asking a question, is TV changing forever? So philosophically, some philosopher way back few decades, now I see it's 100 years of television, he told TV is disrupting human existence and called it an idiot box. And few decades later, a businessman calls it a smart TV. So that's an indication that TV is changing at last, from being an idiot box to a smart TV. Not only that, you see that TV is now competing with the likes of TikTok and Instagram Reels for the same eyeballs, which no broadcaster ever dreamt that they will have to compete with these applications. And few years back, broadcasters used to laugh at saying that, okay, what is streaming? But today they are talking about national scale streaming across the world. So that is sort of giving a feel that, okay, TV is changing forever. So let us see what the streaming TV promises. The summer is good. Things are rosy. People are enjoying in the room. And suddenly the streaming fabric collapses. And then you see what happens. There is chaos, noise, and cursing. More than that, if you are watching and sitting along with your daughter or son, and they'll ask you a question, is this the technology you're building for the last 14 years? So that is a bit difficult to digest. That is where the rosy picture starts ending and starts creating doubt in the minds of people that is TV going to change forever or not. So how do we address this problem when summer everything looks fine, but in the winter, what do we do? So what do we do in the winter? That is what we need to ask ourselves. So most of us are wearing the coat. So we need to build the coat around the TV ecosystem to take it to the aspirational level of 100% streaming from the conventional broadcasting. Because the broadcasting has evolved over 100 years and has been hardened so that you have very low points of failure or almost absolutely no points of failure. If the uplink works, everything is up and running. But in streaming TV, or some other intelligent businessman calls it as connected TV, to make it deeply connected to everyone in your living room, it requires a code. So what does code stand for? So it is composability, observability, autonomy, and build the trust. So if you can address these three aspects, you are going to build the trust. So if you see that there are several parameters here, so there are hundreds of touch points where things can go wrong in a streaming TV, and you need to be on top of each of those, unlike a hardened broadcasting system where you just switch on the TV, just relax and watch, because there is an aspiration to make it as immersive, as interactive as possible. So in order to do that, you need to address several things. For example, you cannot afford to have latency and out of sync problems with your streaming TV, because the broadcast you never had anything like that, right? So you cannot have a TV where there is almost a goal to be scored and then suddenly there is a buffering happening, or there is a real time concert going on, or a real reality show going on, and the winners are being announced and everything conks off because your bandwidth fell down. What do you do in such cases? Also, the scale that is achievable here is much, much more than what TV earlier in the broadcasting had to do, because broadcasting was a single stream, whereas here it is unicast, personalized, different kinds of devices. So how do we tackle this? How do we bring this code? And what kind of problems we may foresee? There is harsh reality that is there in the ecosystem today, and there are a lot of business pressures. Unpredictable traffic spikes on an election day in India. You will have seen millions of people watching election coverage on the news, TV, or on your smartphones. So if something has to be a streamed entity, it has to now cater to that kind of unpredictable traffic spikes. There is zero tolerance for buffering. People are going to throw remote. If that is going to happen on TV, on mobile it is still an acceptable thing, but on TV it is not. A few years back, the mobile devices had so much of fragmentation, we had to literally build systems which can cater to that kind of fragmentation. But today you see the same thing in TV, because a lot of time to market pressures. So people are bringing out devices from the OEM, and without worrying about how people will build infrastructure to deliver content to that. And they have created hardware which has a lot of gaps. So you need to address all of those. Or you need to make things so personalized so people will get that interactive and immersive experience. So there's a lot of pressure from OEM side, there's a pressure from user side, there's pressure from monetization side. At the same time, you have several issues that can crop up. For example, you decide, okay, I've implemented a subscription-based TV model, and you have launched your OTT, and suddenly you would like to introduce ads. So one of our customer introduced ads suddenly into this, and things stopped working because many TVs had only one hardware decoder instance. So it could only play the ad, and the content could not be switched because the playback was controlled by the ad playback, and the content it could not switch. So immediately people started removing the subscription, saying that, okay, I'm not able to view the content, what kind of service is this? So the backlash. Or some part of India, streaming is not happening, but other places it is fine. So as a tech stack provider, we see everything is working fine in my lab, everything is fine, but what is happening in a part of India where it is not happening? So there is an issue with an ISP, and how will I detect that? in my player. So I need ways to tackle the very harsh reality problems. So TVs claim that they have Dolby support, but many TVs actually do not, but they claim. So how do I keep alternate ways of addressing delivery to such TVs moment I discover they are not actually supporting what they are supposed to do? So how do we solve this at Saranyu? So we have three kind of groupings of the problems that we have to address. One is the performance and resilience. So you can have performance by having very scalable CDNs and all those things, but what if the device fails? You need to be resilient to that. So I need to have extensive device maps to see that what kind of device has what capabilities and how do you manage those devices at runtime without manual intervention. So that means I need autonomous systems to really understand what it is catering to the device profiles. Even on CDNs, some CDNs can create issues. So I need to build not only smart TVs and smartphones, I have to build smart URLs. That means the video URLs themselves must be intelligent enough to be switched at the player level to go and select what plays the best on a particular device. Or I need to optimize my resources, whether it is a video bitrate or resolution or bandwidth requirement, so that I can keep on improving my quality of experience, so that I can go closer and closer to the broadcast level delivery. The second aspect is what kind of intelligence you need to build and how observable you can be. A CDN will just give me a log saying that this is what is happening. But I need to create lot many more than that. For example, we put in a player heartbeats, which is sending every 10 seconds that it is active. Suppose it is buffering and I'm getting heartbeats are stopping. I must be able to detect this pattern saying that, okay, heartbeats have stopped coming. So that means somewhere in that region, more and more people are having players are sending heartbeats. That region is having some issue with the buffering. So I need to reroute my traffic for them in a different way to ensure that things are fine. So I need a very intelligent engine here to detect patterns and then take appropriate action so that it can heal itself. So what we call self-healing stacks, so that it can start using alternate backups that are provided within the stack, so that it can appropriately address the issues that can be seen in the system. So given that Saranyu has worked on several CDs, with several CDNs, payment gateways, ad networks, then B2B networks. So we have lot of data collected over years. So we understand how we can create systems which can address these kinds of problems and make it more resilient and more observable. Lastly, scalability is very, very important to understand, because a low-tier app in India has minimum 2 million users. And a high-end app of a streaming app will have 100 million users. So your starting point is not 100K users or 500K users, starting at 2 million users. That is the minimum you have to deal with. So India is the right playground for any technology company to see whether the technology works. And lucky we are coming from India and we know how to handle it. Not only that, the composability is important. I need to be able to mix and match different components from different people, but at the same time I need to have control. So that is where our advantage comes, because we have an end-to-end platform, so we provide anything and everything that is required. So we have built mechanisms to observe every point. So even if a third party I'm integrating, I would like to ensure that they provide observability to us so that we can control. So composability is very, very critical. Same time, I need to have enormous amount of control to ensure that I am matching the broadcast quality in a unicast network. So we have several product suites. As I told, we have OTT 1.0, which cater to the conventional streaming platforms. Now we have AI enabled it. So across the suite, there is a bottom line that has to be ensured. You may have products, you may have technologies, but if you do not have the scalable experiences, you will not know what's happening. you will not be able to fix the problems. You will tend to sell the product and go off, but your end customer, who may be the broadcaster, content aggregator, or content owner, or a service provider, will not be happy with you because you are not helping him to solve the problems. So our bottom line is very, very strong because we have scalable experiences, enormous amount of system integration with different kinds of systems, and we take care of the end-to-end managed services and also build UI UX which is appropriate for the end user to enrich their experience. So you can come and visit us 5.h80 and have discussions further on this. So that's on the way we are building our products to have the code that is required for you to see that you have summer all through the TV ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Suresh. Do we have any questions from the floor for Suresh? Go on, somebody's got to have a question. Easy to find, a couple of aisles that way, turn right, on the left. And he and his colleagues will be delighted to welcome you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And we'll be continuing on the theme of looking after your OTT operations in just a minute when we welcome back to the stage Brenton from Touchstream. Thank you.